Hello and welcome to Comic Drake, where I talk about comic books. My name is Drake. Since I'm trying to be a bit more community focused with the Discord, Twitter, Facebook, the community tab on YouTube, and all that other stuff, I decided to try my hand at a book club. A comic book club, if you will. Today I'm going to be talking about the Mega Man comic over at Archie Comics, specifically Volume 1, which is issues 1 through 4, which is called Let the Games Begin. I am a big fan of Mega Man, and I actually used to do gaming content before I was doing comic books as my full-time gig on YouTube. And the Mega Man series has always been a personal favorite of mine. I actually read the Mega Man comic a good while ago, but getting a chance to reread the first volume was absolutely amazing, and it was a great walk down memory lane. Since it's a comic by Archie Comics, it's going to be family friendly, which I don't know if that's going to be a problem for anybody, but it's Mega Man. If you are a fan of the Mega Man games or the franchise as a whole in any way, shape, or form, then it's always been pretty family friendly. It would just be really weird for there to be a more dark and gritty Mega Man book. Sure, some of the other properties in the franchise have gotten dark, and the Archie comic does play its hand later on down the road with it, but family-friendly fare is generally what you want from Mega Man, and it's what you get. The art looks fantastic, and the first volume ends up being a little bit of a retelling of the first game. But since the first game was for the NES, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about when it came to plot, since it was just, hey, you're a dude, go shoot the Robot Masters, get their powers, defeat Dr. Wily, save the day. Sure, it got elaborated on a little bit, but not a whole lot. But the comic really does take that extra step, giving the characters a lot more of a personality, a little bit more motivation, and I really do like that they also pulled from Mega Man Powered Up, which is the remake of the first game, which was for the PSP, which is one of my personal favorite Mega Man games ever. And at the end of the first volume, they actually tease Oil Man and Time Man, which were the 2 Robot Masters added to the game, in order to give it the full 8 Robot Master total that has become the standard of Mega Man games forward, since I believe the original Mega Man game, at least on the top of my head, only had 6. Now, I will admit that since it's only 4 issues, they really do fly through the entire thing really fast, which is really cool for action, but not a whole lot for character development. I'm sure that what they were going for is they were trying to get through all of the stuff from the game just so they can move on to the more original bit, get more into the character development stuff, but I personally would have preferred if each Robot Master got their own issue. Whenever they're going through and fighting Gutsman, Leckman, Iceman, Cutman, if they went ahead and gave Bomb Man his own issue, where Mega Man went through his stage, dealt with the specific hazards of his stage, then fight Bomb Man, find a creative way to defeat him, then get his power, go on to the next Robot Master, go through their stage, find unique ways of handling that, unique enemies, find a unique way to beat them. I have a hair in my eye, I'm gonna throw that away. We're gonna keep that in. But I really think that giving each Robot Master their own dedicated issue would have been a lot of fun. We could get a variety of locations, but instead of, it's really good that they got to go through a lot of locations in the book, but I really would have liked to spend more time in each one to really give it more of a varied feel. And then also it would have let us go into the personalities of each of the Robot Masters a little bit more and flesh them out, which I think would have been better storytelling. Again, I understand why they went ahead and went through the entire thing in only 4 issues, but personally, I think it could have been handled better. Now, I could talk on and on and on about how much I love the Mega Man Archie comic, but I'm actually having a little bit of a hard time talking about just this one volume. And admittedly, a lot of the things that made me really fall in love with the series did happen in later volumes, and I guess would be spoilers. But thankfully, this video isn't just going to be my opinions on the book, since this is a community-based show, or at least it will be if you guys enjoy this first episode and would actually like to see more and support it with your views and your likes and your comments. Anyway, I submitted a tweet on Twitter, because, you know, that's where tweets go, asking you guys for your thoughts and opinions on this first volume of the Mega Man Archie comic with the hashtag Comic Drake Book Club. Let's hear what you guys had to say. At DHQPC says, I liked it a lot. It's got some fun adventure stuff in it, along with more serious parts that deal with Rock not wanting to blow up other robots, and now there's a reason behind him losing all of his weapons from the previous game. So, as Mega Man went on in the story fighting all the different Robot Masters, he was getting more and more arrogant. And this was a bad thing, especially since Roll noticed it. And there's this point where Mega Man and Dr. Light sit down and discuss his actions, and there is this really interesting revelation that Mega Man has where he's noticing that he's delighting in blowing up these bad guys, which isn't necessarily a good thing, and he starts to wonder if he's evil. And oh my god, for a series to have this kind of introspection in just the first 4 issues is wow, it is really something. Now, granted, it's a little bit ham-fisted since it is a all-ages book, but Admittedly, I have read more of the series, so I can say this with confidence that this kind of moral gray area and this kind of soul searching for a robot is something that the series plays with further, and I think it's really cool that they're teasing this central thesis of the entire comic as a whole this early on, and I really do enjoy it. At Ajustice90 says, one of the best parts of this was that the original 6 robots decided to not be Wily's goons like in the old cartoon. Because, and I'm gonna assume he said they became a good supporting cast for Rock and one of the best parts of the whole series. Yeah, totally agree. I like that they kind of fought their programming, and there was a copy Mega Man that showed up. So whenever Rock Mega Man, I'm going to use those terms interchangeably, whenever he said that Dr. Light would forgive them and there would be a spot back in the family again, and they were very confused about it, they went against their programming and destroyed the copy Mega Man. And they justified it by saying that Dr. Wily told them to defeat Mega Man. So by defeating a Mega Man, whether or not it's the original one, they were able to get past that and then join the good guys again, which was really touching, and yeah, they definitely do become a good part of the series moving forward. Thomas Broomfield says, this comic was one of my favorites. It's actually the reason I'm a big Mega Man fan. Doing things like explaining why Mega Man gets rid of his powers and adding some personality to all the characters was what really sold me on it. Yeah, I think that the main selling point of the entire Mega Man comic is that they really do give each of the characters a well-defined personality. Sometimes it can be a little bit more of, cardboard cutouts. They have just a few defining characteristics, but they are actual characters, and I do tend to enjoy them a lot more than honestly, a lot of the other things in the Mega Man franchise. I enjoy these characters more than a lot of the stuff in the cartoons, the anime, and some of the other games. I really do like it. I think that there is a lot to go off of here, and I think that they make for very strong characters. At Class Act Media has a little paragraph here, which admittedly is kind of overboard, but he's a big part of the Comic Drake Discord community, so I'll let it slide this time. It was neat to see so many small details from the games incorporated into the story, especially the subtle ones like Mega Man getting to choose which robot master he fights first. The comic was so similar to the game that at parts it felt like I was basically reading a Let's Play, except more context was given to the action. I thought Mega Man's changes in attitude towards fighting all happened pretty abruptly, but the resulting heart-to-heart he had with Dr. Light was sweet enough that it made me not mind so much. Overall, I liked it well enough. It was a fun story with great art, but I don't see anybody who isn't already a Mega Man fan getting much into it. I'm definitely gonna agree with that last part. I think that if you aren't already into Mega Man, you're probably not going to pick this book up, because you might as well just play the game, since you know it's a video game comic. And honestly, video game comics, your mileage might vary. But yeah, there's a lot of really small nods to the games in there, and if you are a big fan of the franchise, it really does pay off. I especially like there's this scene where Dr. Light has this screen, he's keeping track of Mega Man's progress fighting the Robot Masters, and there are the sprites from the game. Really, really cool stuff, and I really do like the nods to the continuity. I think that much like a lot of the Sonic stuff that we see in some of the Celebration games like Generations, and even the Sonic comic as a whole, I really do feel like this is just a big love letter to the entire Mega Man franchise, and it's delightful. At Digital Pizza M says, I love the crossovers with the Sonic comics. They were a lot of fun. I'm not going to go too much into this since it isn't specifically about the first volume, but yeah, you like Sonic? They got Sonic crossovers later on in the series. It's cool stuff. Give it a read. Not going to say anything else about that, so yeah. So those are some of my thoughts, along with some of your thoughts, but I want to get even more of your thoughts down there in the description below. If you liked this book, then please talk about it. If you didn't like this book, then please respectfully talk about it down there. If you're interested in reading this book, then please buy it digitally on Comixology or another legal digital distribution site, or you can do the bigger thing and actually go out and support your local comic book shop. I think it's a lot of fun, and maybe you'll enjoy it too. But also, I really want to hear your opinions on this whole comic book club thing as a whole. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know why. If you did like it, then let me know what you did enjoy about this. If not, let me know what you didn't enjoy about this. I definitely want to know what I'm doing right and what I can be improving on. I want to make this a nice community effort, and I want to be able to feature as many of you guys as possible. So, another important thing is that while your comments are very important, views are ultimately the biggest factor if any of my shows are going to stay on or not. If it doesn't get the views, then I'm not going to spend the time making the thing. So if you really did like this, then please leave a comment, leave a like, and maybe share this video around with some of your friends. I don't know. So that's that. I don't have a fancy intro or outro for this. I'm a very tired boy, so this has kind of been all over the place, but Bye. I'm leaving.